Welcome to the Executive Outlook. In this edition, we are joined by Robert Goodwin, Chief Data Officer at MSQ Global, and he is a CEO of MSQ Data. He has been recognized as a top 50 data and marketing leader. Welcome, Robert, to the Executive Outlook.
Hi, Isha. Great to meet you. And brilliant to meet your podcast audience. A little bit about myself quickly is obviously award-winning in multiple different areas, but have an awesome team behind me. Look after everything to do with data analytics, marketing technology, marketing effectiveness, and product and data-driven product enablement for multiple clients and internal for about 13 agencies as part of that MSQ Global Group.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your introduction. All right, so let's start to hear from your journey. What brings you to your role as CTO at MSQ?
What a story. It's, I suppose, many, many years ago, started with just a love of mathematics and bringing that up from school. So it's always been bedded in with me. So I've come from a more traditional route of being down the mathematical and analytical side of things. But what it's driven me to is then get into, rather than traditional finance, so thinking of, I could have gone into banking, I had a bit more of the artistic flair and the business side of setting up business analytics, understanding business documents, and a little bit of finance as well. It got me into marketing, and one of my first roles in there kind of broken into the marketing world, and it quite instantly showed me what data, analytics, marketing, operations, what it provides for me. So I've ended up scaling over time from small businesses to global businesses like Sky and British Airways, and then shifting from that into a more agency side. So this is where I worked with MNC Saatchi, WPP, the specialist works, from media, marketing, creative agencies, and scaled over time, realizing that from a data strategist, from a hands-on marketing technology enablement team, from an analytics builder, from segmentations to next best actions, it really got me hands-on. I was very much specialized in multiple different areas. I did multiple parallels to become skilled in those different areas, and realised that I could now get it to that point where I can then be holistic across multiple different teams. I specialised in some, but become nuanced in others. And that's where I could then do the overarching play of getting into that chief data officer role to oversee multiple different capabilities, do consulting, look at selling that as a solution for different areas and different businesses, and then move that into the next level, which is ultimately getting to the C-suite and evolving that as an actual business entity. So it's been a really exciting career. It's evolved through doing hard work, being hands-on, and I'm a very hands-on leader now, still looking at analytics, still looking at MarTech infrastructure. And that's where I continuously build my teams around me with specialists, not generalists. So that way we can get our hands dirty, deliver what we need for our clients, and move forward.
So you have worked with a lot of marketing data and the customer experience. So can you share some case study where your team has used data and AI to improve the performance?
Yes. So, and I mean, AI, obviously, it's the new buzzword that everyone needs to be talking about now. We've got multiple clients. So we've got one in the UK that is, well, ultimately the AA. I think the case studies are open in the market. It's a automotive recovery business, but also does insurance and does which car insurance and breakdown cover and all sorts of things. But we have ultimately at MSQ embedded AI at the backbone of everything that we deliver. From creative development, so thinking about scamping of creative outputs, closed loop reporting, so dashboarding, back to understanding what works, what doesn't work. And we basically just build these spines for our clients that are workflow solutions that can basically try and minimize effort, increase efficiency, and then ultimately use AI to deliver a bit more speed to market when it comes to insights, decisioning, and outcomes. And that's really where we're trying to build the momentum at MSQ around outcomes through AI and marketing analytics. So what we've ended up doing with the AA, we've got our bespoke tool called Assist for them in place. We've then got our advanced dashboarding solution that looks after creative effectiveness, looks at visual AI. So what assets are really working in market when they get pushed out through CRM. And this one's more of a CRM example versus a media example. But it looks at, emails, push notifications, what's going into the market, which ones are working. We then scamp them up with our AI solutions. We then push that to our creative teams to edit, amend, so we still have human in the loop. And then we use their tooling, the AI's marketing technology stack, to then bring that data back in and understand what is working, what isn't working, what's the AI storytelling that we put over the top of it, supported by data strategists. So we've tried to create as much of a closed loop ecosystem that goes from briefing to creative development to execution with human in the loop, and then the closed loop reporting at the moment. And it's proven to be super successful. It's we've had some learning curves to enhance it, make it better over time. The creative AI models are getting better all the time, so it makes those small nuances to be more personalized and more one-to-one basis better. But it's generating super learnings, real impactful case studies. It's had a few award wins in the market as well through some of the Marketing Society and some of these other areas as well. So it's proving that it's a big hit in the market at least. But what we're seeing for the client is that it means that we're able to scale creative powered by data. And that's the real endpoint of what we should be doing, and trying to enhance it, make it better with human in the loop. So it's not completely automated, not yet. And what it means is that we can test more variants, more things, more understandings, more learnings, more variables. So that way we can get better learnings, enhance what's better for the customer, and also deliver better results for the business. So it's kind of a win-win at the moment. And it means that people can just test more, do more variants. It's not actually that scary. It's just super interesting. We're all learning and continuously evolving. So really cool, really great fun. Other areas, which I can probably test upon, is like AI search. We've got a brilliant team that is looking at GEO optimization, but we've basically created a new productization for tracking for basically AI optimized search out in the market, understanding what are people doing, how are we benchmarking that, how do you then optimize for new website builds through our MSQ DX offering, through to monitoring and setting up website migration, to GA tagging, Adobe tagging, to make sure you've got websites structured so they are discoverable from AI searchability, as well as then enhancing our media buying and our media creative discoverability to make sure it's findable. And we're doing that for a lot of companies right now. Super groundbreaking at the moment, purely because the technology is constantly changing week on week, and it's all about UCP at the moment, zero click purchase protocols that you can start to enable. Really interesting as well, groundbreaking stuff, but it's going great. Take the step back. How do you monitor it? What should you be doing? How are those infrastructures working with all the different LLMs in the market? And how do you make yourself discoverable as well? So it really helps our media and the creativity of getting your content on these kind of shoppable, or will become more shoppable, LLMs.
Yeah, so true. Everyone is moving towards making their site discoverable on different LLMs. So, and even the Chat GPT has started the advertisement side of it, right? So that also happened. So yeah, it's good.
Yes.
New era is coming for marketing. Yeah. All right.
It's an evolving era. It certainly is.
Yeah. So if a founder of a growing company come to you and say, we have a very limited budget, but we want to start measuring our marketing properly. So what are the 3 steps you could recommend to them that they can start it from the beginning?
Yeah, it's good point actually. We actually, just taking a step back on that, we look after startups that are part of businesses, as well as going all the way through to enterprise level global businesses as well. We get this, we honestly get this question quite often as well, with a lot of the enterprise businesses as well, where they have little startup teams or sprint teams where they've gone, right, we need to just create a product fast, but we have no data, or we're about to set up a website. So the 3 kind of areas that we'd always start with is trying to start with a baseline. What's the market sizing? What's your share of voice in the market? What do you want to be going after initially? Because you will have 0. It will, in most instances, there will be nothing there. But you instantly need to be going to if you think of a traditional funnel, from awareness, consideration through to action, like buying, those are 3 kind of pillars. They're the kind of blocks that you want to start going. So you want to start with understanding where you're spending your money. So if you're going to the marketing side, how much spend have we got by channel. So easy to measure, simple thing to do if you're starting to put marketing out there. Now that's good for your awareness or your reach of your conversation, impressions. They're kind of the vanity metrics. They're useful. It's useful to understand what you're kind of getting for your cost per click, your cost per thousand in market, but it's not necessarily the most critical, but it's good to know, are we out there? Are we getting fair value for what we're spending by media channel? Second layer then, engagement. So what are people doing with our kind of content? Are they actually engaging with it? Is it working? Are we completely wasting our money because either no one's really seeing it, there's no view through rates, people aren't clicking on the content, it's not working, at which point you want to switch that off very quickly so you can actually start to make some decisions from your spend. Are they going to the website? So is there some level of engagement going to a website? Everyone will have some form of digital integration. And what are they then doing off the back of that? So digital analytics is really key, but engagement with media as well. So that's that kind of middle layer, that second point, that engagement piece. So setting up Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, or Adobe, or any other app solutions off the back of that, really important. You need to make sure you are tracking your customer when they get to your site on your own entities. Critically important. So digital analytics is always a must, and then media engagement to that website. Then the final point is then obviously sales. If it's a commerce business versus a B2B, it's slightly different, but it could be a sale or it could be a lead. Doesn't really matter, but it's still about understanding what that endpoint is. Has somebody downloaded a white paper or an event entry or an invite? Or have they actually gone through to your checkout and have they purchased or not? Having those things triggered is a fundamental to understand what is the endpoint, and it will also start to give you an understanding of, is it working? Does the website work? Or does the purchasing on social work? If it's a social commerce business, is that actually converting? Is it leading to some sales? Is our media doing enough to get volume of people to the website in the first place at the top end or the middle end of the funnel? And then are they getting through to that convert? And are we tracking that data at that setup? That is the bare bones of setting yourself up as a founder. So make sure you've got digital analytics, you've got your media tracking, and you've got your conversion at shop out at cart or lead generation. That's always the building blocks. From there, it then grows and extrapolates into more complexity and attribution modeling, thinking about tracking offline sales through to your receipts or your marketing qualified leads, your sales qualified leads. It can get more complex, but at the bare bones basics, are you tracking your media spend? Where is it being spent? Is it working? Is it engaging at a low level? Are they getting to the website? Is that converting? Have you got your digital analytics tracking working? And then are people converting at the lower end of the funnel? So that's always the basics to get into place from day one.
Thank you for sharing that. You mentioned about AI, discoverability, searching, right? So, what are the practical ways that brands can start using AI and like steps they can implement to appear in the AI? Any ideas you would?
Great question. And obviously very pressing. So the major thing is to start looking at, not all LLMs are the same. They've all got slightly different capabilities. You've got Google AI, you've got Claude, Perplexity, you've got these open AI as part of that infrastructure as well. So if you kind of go, if they're the big four that you need to be thinking about right now, that could change easily. They all pull from different solutions, different sources, some similar, some more so than others. So Reddit, Wikipedia, YouTube in Google AI obviously uses a lot of YouTube. And they all slightly pull from different sources off the back of that. But the major thing is they are using all of those quite commonly. So my biggest bit of advice to people in the market is look at the community, look at Quora as well, and making sure you've got answer generation on your website. So Q&A setup, question answer kind of content that's scrapable, making sure that if you're an affiliate-based business like in telcos, that you're using affiliates, or you're in the energy sector and you're using affiliates, they are still big citations. So you need to make sure you've got good affiliate content on third-party sites because they're really high on the citation links. But make sure you're managing your community and your social content as well, because that is now being scraped. That is really positive. Make sure you have YouTube videos. Make sure you're updating your Reddit and your Wikipedia pages with new updates as well. All of those are helping surface your brand and your brand awareness on LLMs right now. So having a curation team around it would have been probably social PR in the past, or might have been your organic social teams. Getting those people to start commenting, start supporting, start curating the audience and where the topics and conversations are being had, all of that's being ingested into LLMs for at least the AI discoverability. And it's such an easy thing to do. It just needs a little bit of support. Some businesses have gone the next step and they're actually using AI chatbots to and AI agents to actually update those comments. I'm not sure they've been as successful, and sometimes it can be misinterpreted, or you've got to have some guardrails around it. But having that presence has been really supporting at least the AI discoverability on the LLMs. The other things is then just make sure you got your websites updated. You got your .text files and scrapability from GA and some of these other areas, or you're thinking about building your P2P or A2A, agent to agent kind of infrastructure. That will also help because it put you as a preferential provider back to the LLMs in the future. That is very early days, and even OpenAI is having trouble with enabling this from agent to agent setup. So, but I can imagine that becoming much more prevalent within the next 12 months, certainly where people want to monetize it, and much more so, I would guess, in the future.
What is your favorite AI tool which you want to use it in your projects?
We use so many, to be honest, AI infrastructure tools. So we've got our own proprietary tool called Assist, but that pulls from multiple LLM models. So it's got OpenAI in there, it's got Claude, it's got Complexity, it's got Nano Banana. So it just depends on the use case. So we use a lot of Claude Enterprise because it's secured, it's locked down internally, which is great. And we use that for a lot of project-based work. So we load in core files so that it can just be completely enclosed, focus on those files and mine what we want it to mine, basically. It helps us build some agents on top of that, or skills on top of that, which are really useful. So Claude is definitely a favorite. But it does depend on the task. Some are better than others. So Claude Code, obviously very powerful for our developer teams and for our engineers, for ETL processing and some other pieces. But we're then using the AI built within the tooling. So whether that's within marketing technology environments like Adobe or Salesforce or Agentforce now, or Power BI for descriptive analytics. So it does depend on the use case because, well, there's so many others. Nano Banana is awesome for AI creative and scamp development and creating awesome video analysis as well, which we still use in the data team because it's about describing use cases and bringing to life awesome visualizations as well. So we get to use so many different tools, but it does depend. It depends on the use case.
So, if a founder or CMO asks you a question that what should our data architecture look like so that we can support the modern AI or analytics, so what do you recommend to them?
To be honest, we're building this out for multiple different people right now. I mean, the modern data architecture, I suppose some of it's around the tooling, but there's so much good architecture and technology environments out there. Snowflake, Databricks, Azure, GCP, AWS. Any of those are very powerful. They're all very good. Some are better than others in different use cases. Some have better data science environments. Some have better ETL processing setups, but they're all pretty much connected. Some are better in the media world than others, but they're all data storage environments. Kind of structural setup of having a clean, raw database coming in, making sure you've got your bronze, silver, gold kind of infrastructure, that still stands true today. Making sure you've got your raw to your kind of churn data to your kind of factory kind of gold processed output. That is still needed, and that hasn't changed. What has come into play a little bit more, though, is making sure you've got a semantic layer that sits across the top. So once you've got your data into a good position, think about your semantic data layer that can actually be, I suppose, the way of thinking about it, scraped and read from the AI, so that way it can communicate really well. It's clean to get through. And then on top of that, you can then sit your traditional kind of reporting data layers or your executional data layers on top for data science modeling and real-time decisioning as well to support the AI agents. But if you've got that semantic layer that sits over the top of it, once you've got your data into a good position, that is still the standard best practice. It still stands true. Yes, there's different models like Medallia and other things that can come into play around governance and other pieces. But the truth is, gold, silver, bronze layers are still predominantly needed. And then having a semantic layer that sits alongside that and structuring that data into a good position, that's what will take you forward. Anything that makes it easy for the AI agents to read the data, access the data, and then make some decisions off the back of that and orchestrate or push into different ETL processes, into marketing technology or ad tech or reporting solutions, BI, MI solutions.
Question that comes to when we are using the AI is about security. We have the data and we don't want our data to go out of our infrastructure. So what is your recommendations to make the environment secure?
Security is a good question, and it still comes down to really good data governance and the infrastructures that you've got in place. So making sure that you have your single sign-on environments, you've got those locked down to an enterprise level agreement with those big players that I mentioned earlier, like Snowflake, GCP, Azure, Databricks, but also making sure that you've also got the management ecosystem around it as well. So the data security is less of my concern because it's been built in for years. You've got your rollback windows, you've got ISO 2007-1 accreditations for your businesses, depending on whether you've got GDPR data in there or not. So it's the people around it is normally the bigger issue right now. And this is where you want to make sure you've got the right governance. How's it being used? And the biggest issue is more about the agents pulling on that data and what is being surfaced to the cloud versus what is being surfaced from your own data and how it's been manipulated, amended, tweaked, edited, and does it have the quality check? So this is where, rather than the traditional security setups, which is in data architecture, I think that still stands true. You 100% need that in play. But what you need is continuous agents on top of your kind of executional, orchestration, and workflow agents to be looking at QA, to be looking at security, to be looking at outcomes as well. So you've got multi-checks in play, and then you've got human in the loop. So that's where I'm more focused now today, purely because traditional security is still strong in data architecture and data infrastructure. It's good for now. It's more about the governance of the people and the use case of the output and making sure you've got the agents for security processing, QA development, quality setup, and making sure that you have LLMs that are owned within your environment and not being pushed to the cloud if you're a big enterprise business. That's not right for everybody, but making sure that you have your right use cases, your right data security, data privacy agreements in play, and you've got a DPO as part of your business to then look at this, that's where considerations need to be brought into mind. But normally we're advising it around making sure you've got agents to check what's being used and then making sure always there's a human in the loop as part of that process, at least at the moment.
Looking all the questions I wanted to ask from you. Thank you so much for sharing your insights today. So it's a pleasure having you on the executive.
Thanks, Isha. Lovely to chat to you. Brilliant.
Yeah, thank you.